What's up, nerds? Welcome to Pirate Radio, the Enterprise IT podcast. Today's guest is Spectra Logic CEO and founder Nathan Thompson. Nathan founded Spectra Logic in his apartment in 1979 while attending CU Boulder's College of Engineering as an undergraduate. Nathan is going to discuss with us long-term survival in the enterprise IT industry and his 42 years of being an enterprise IT pirate. Nathan Thompson, welcome to One Technology's Pirate Radio.
Thank you, Matt. Good to be here.
Yeah, I wanted to start off with my favorite customer service story of all time. It wasn't told to me by anyone at Spectra Logic. It was told to me by a customer, and it has to do with you hand delivering some equipment. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Was there a airplane involved, perhaps?
There was. I heard that, and it was like the most wowed story I'd ever heard around customer service, and it was inspiring and made me want to make One Tech better and get that into our DNA as well.
Well, that I know who that customer is, and they're a very special and important customer, and I would do it in any way I could get there if I needed to.
That's awesome, and it's neat that you have that in your DNA. And we work with a lot of folks on your team. Our theme today is long-term survival in the enterprise IT industry, and I'm sure that kind of customer service plays a big role for you guys.
It absolutely does, and it really is. We just did our kickoff, our annual, or really it's almost a State of the Union presentation. And at the end, I talk about our credo items, and that's the first credo item. And we go over it and make sure everybody knows it. We recognize it, reward it. We point out where we've done well. We analyze where we haven't done well, and it's one of the reasons we're in business.
That's fantastic. I've tried to copy that story, but it's less impressive in an F-150 than in a plane. But who knows? Maybe someday I'll get the nerve and lose my fear of heights and just to get that on our resume too.
Well, it's a great asset to have is that ability.
For sure. So with that, I'm going to kick off with some questions here.
You bet.
So you founded Western Automation, which later became Spectra Logic, while a student at CU Boulder roughly 42 years ago. Since then, you've weathered Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that's correct.
Perfect. Since then, you've weathered dozens of technology industry trends, up and down economies. Knowing that few of your industry peers have fared as well, what is the secret to long-term survival in the enterprise technology industry?
Well, thank you for the question. I think the startup phase was I didn't know any better, and had I failed, I would have been the first person in 2 or 3 generations. 3 generations in my entire family that didn't go to college, and so it was nip and tuck, and it just really came down to always working on the next thing in the technology business. I worked for 4 companies when I was in high school. All of them went under or eventually went under, and the reason was things were good. They assumed it would stay that way, and they didn't reinvest in future technologies or other things that would benefit their customers. And so there's a book, Andy Grove, now passed away, but he was one of the 3 Intel founders, called "Only the Paranoid Survive," and I think that's really key. R&D, taking care of your customers. I've learned not to make enemies. Sometimes you have to befriend them. build a big cash balance, because sometimes it takes a lot longer to make a transition, and always keep pushing forward.
I quoted the paranoid survive, not knowing where I stole it from, but it sounds like I stole it from him. So that's I'm adding it to my Amazon list right now to read that book.
It's actually, it's High Output Management is his book. So, but that's one of the quotes. Maybe
Nice.
not out of the book, but out of the person.
Nice. A good one for sure. And you started when you were 19 years old and a student at CU. I look back at myself when I was 19. I would have been wildly ill prepared for to start a business. You say you just didn't know any better. That's probably the best advice you can give a 19-year-old, right? Just don't know any better.
Yeah, and just do whatever it takes. Either do whatever it takes to stay in school, or do whatever it takes to succeed in a job, or maybe do whatever it takes to get the date with a girl that you like. Whatever.
Just keep moving the ball down the field. Yep.
That's right. It may feel like you're only going forward a millimeter a week, but eventually that accumulates.
For sure. Next question. Solving problems and being innovative can be hard to do once, but to survive in the industry for 40 years, you have to be able to adapt constantly. What are the biggest IT challenges that the Spectra Logic team is working to solve over the next 2 to 5 years that will allow you to continue to adapt?
Certainly. Probably the largest challenge that we are looking to solve and address right now is ransomware. The next one is hybrid cloud. Then I would say long-term digital preservation or data preservation. And we're kind of a portfolio company, which is, I'm not the guy that picks the one hot idea and bets the company on it, but rather I have at any time a portfolio of products and opportunities, because it always works out that the ones you think are going to be the real winners end up being dogs, and the one you sort of kept funding and working on, even though everybody said, why are you doing it? Well, that one ends up pulling your company out and taking you to the next tier. So it's sort of, a portfolio has stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, maybe hedge funds. And so we diversify our bets a bit. And that's because, it's really hard to make predictions, especially about the future.
For sure. And it sounds like you guys are investing and betting on some sizable trends with hybrid cloud and ransomware security and security in general. You're definitely trying to solve the big problems of the day.
Yep. Yeah, and we're still investing in some of the products that have really gotten us to this point. Big tape libraries, and also ways of managing disk drives. So it's not all the futuristic stuff, but some of the portfolio is invested in making our existing products better to make the lives and experiences of our customers and partners better.
And your the technologies you guys are known for, they're still widely adopted with some of the largest and most forward-looking industries and organizations. The folks that are exploring space, splitting atoms, sequencing genomes, creating media content that we watch every day. If you had to choose a favorite industry or customer that Spectra gets to work with, knowing that you're a CU College of Engineering alum and have strong nerd credibility. Which of those industries is the favorite of yours?
I probably am partial to the big problems as my favorite. Predicting weather, simulating large systems. That probably is the area, but not everybody has an exabyte of data, and so there aren't that many of those to solve. So, kind of our kick right now is we really want to help defeat ransomware, and that's affecting the world. And in fact, it may seem like it's a problem in the U.S., but it's a far worse problem in India and in developing countries. And so we're working hard on that, and we're also working hard on sort of the medium-sized storage problems, the 100 terabytes to 2 or 3 petabyte size needs. So those are the areas, and so you have to start with a need, and then that becomes the opportunity over time.
It's interesting. I didn't realize, we're obviously I'm exposed to what our customers in the United States are doing. I didn't realize it was folks were targeting India and other geographies as aggressively as they were here. That's interesting to hear.
Yes, and it's for better or worse, it's probably a whole lot worse to be hit by a ransomware attack in India or Brazil or Africa or anywhere else, and it's probably more frequent.
Interesting. So protecting information has been your life's work. You founded Spectra Logic at age 19. So much so, it's been your life work that you co-authored a book titled Society's Genome, Genetic Diversity's Role in Digital Preservation. The book is a call to all data users, creators and preservationists to both heed the lessons of history and take inspiration from nature itself in addressing our unquenched thirst for information and civilization's need to enduringly safeguard it. Where does your obsession with protecting data come from?
Well, I would say I started in it when I was 14 years old, and I had a job with a small company, which was one of the ones that didn't make it in Denver, that built a floppy disk storage system, and I looked at sort of the field of computing, and I was just mesmerized by the storage part. And along the way, I've come to realize just how much our society, really the entire world, depends on the continual innovation, not of 100 companies or 1,000 companies, but 3 billion innovations a week, small and large, that are made by people. And there's a book I read, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, called The Rational Optimist, and it was written by a guy by the name of Matt Ridley, and he's British, and he looked at kind of the world's problems, and he pointed out there are some, but he also pointed out that if we look at almost any factor associated with humanity, things have got the number of people or percentage of the world's population that dies in wars has dropped. The quality of the air and the quality of the water has improved. Infant mortality has just steadily improved. Quality of life, standards of living, medical treatment, the access to healthcare has improved a lot. Certainly, there are always people who are on the edge that maybe have less, but at almost any way you slice it or look at it, the quality of life for nearly everybody in the world has gotten better. And what has allowed this is just the continued improvement of knowledge. And to improve knowledge, you have to store knowledge. And so to me, it all comes around to data storage. It may be, how to dig a better well in Africa, or it may be how to build a better semiconductor in Northern California. But it's all human innovation is based on sort of platforms of previous innovation and innovation previous to that, going back to many thousands of years. And so Spectra's part, what the part of many of our resellers and partners is effective preservation of that information. And that may be archiving, that may be backup, that may be primary storage, but that's our role. And I think we do it well, but there's always room for more innovation in what we're doing.
Nate, if you were born 2,000 years ago, you'd be writing on cave walls and then trying to keep people away from ruining it, right?
Quite. I would hope 2,000 years ago I had a papyrus or.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, excuse my ignorance around. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back a little further. Yes.
Probably so. Probably
yes.
so. I probably had fairly rudimentary thoughts because I probably wasn't educated or could read or write. But yeah, the way I defended myself against the raging tiger or bear or whatever it was, probably I would have recorded somehow.
Speaking of ignorance, I'm going to crop out the part where I say 2,000 years. That's gone. So just kidding.
No
we'll leave that in. So you've won a lot of business awards in your career, but the one that stands out to me is that August 1st has been made Spectra Logic Day in Colorado by Governor Polis. How does it feel to have Spectra Logic Day?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It might have been just for that year.
Oh.
Okay, so it's still pretty sizable.
Yeah.
But that was probably 2 years ago, and I think we were crossing our 40th anniversary or close to our 40th anniversary. So I was very proud to receive that. And I appreciate it. I don't believe it was through Governor Polis remembering me from this, but he was a Boulderite, and he was associated with Blue Mountain Arts, and there was a group, and they're probably still playing poker, but I was part of it, and he was a much better poker player. And so I kind of got to know him through that, along with a lot of other tech entrepreneurs in the area. And so it may have been because he's from Boulder and we've been around for a long time, and or it may have been we just earned it. So whatever it was, I'm thrilled to have it.
Well, Nate, congratulations on the second anniversary of Spectra Logic Day. If in fact it is not every year, but we'll check with we'll check with the governor on that one.
We'll assume it's so.
We'll assume it's hey, yeah, that's to be interpreted by the by the reader. So I'm going to say it's every year. But Nate, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time and looking forward to the next time.
Same here. Thank you, and thanks to your team at One Technology, and we love partnering with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nate.